is, yeah. I think it's behind there. There's some...
Here on 12th Street in New Westminster, charming shops and flavorful local restaurants are at the heart of the neighborhood.
It's also a huge community hub for the city. So there are culturally important and significant grocers and restaurants and salons.
But
in cities that are growing rapidly, that are densifying, we see more and more chain stores, and we want to really retain the local small business feel.
with more development, soaring land values, and rising rents, some, like Councillor Henderson, are calling for commercial rent control as a way to protect small businesses from big rent hikes and really help preserve the charm of neighborhoods like this. The idea is to limit how much landlords can charge or increase rents for businesses, similar to residential rents.
I have this here.
For Albert Kamba, 12th Street is where dreams come true.
This is me, Albert Kamba.
That's your name?
Yeah.
What's the story behind this?
We can do it too.
You can open your dream?
Yes, we can.
From loyal customers to training newcomers,
I'm very proud of this. And I'm proud for the community too. They support me from day one.
12th Street is an older neighborhood, less developed, mostly single or two-story shops. That's why it's been more affordable for small businesses like Kamba's.
Before it was cheap. I didn't have money. I can't afford the downtown.
While his barber shop is bustling, Albert worries about the future. He says his rent has risen 60% since he opened in 2006.
Now we scared a lot. We're gonna charge $50. Who's coming with the $50? Really tough. See you next time. But what are we gonna do? We just keep going.
Up the street, Kamba has a new neighbor. Catalyst Kinetics has bought this space. The group of chiropractors, physiotherapists, and other health practitioners was priced out from its formal rental space in Burnaby. The CEO says their rent doubled twice in 13 years.
Significant rent increases are tough to swallow.
Councillor Henderson has heard similar concerns. In February, New Westminster Council passed a motion from Henderson. It asked the province to give local governments the authority to allow special economic zones where small businesses' rents can be protected.
Why are we allowing landlords to pass down the costs to small businesses who are owned by families in our communities? We ought to support them. There could be an opportunity to create some sort of cultural designation for areas like this that have significant cultural importance. Bean stew, cabbage rolls, you just don't find places like this anymore.
The BC government acknowledges pressures on small businesses, but says there's no plans for commercial rent control right now. But still, those calls go beyond BC. In May, Toronto City Council also passed a motion calling on the Ontario government to bring in commercial rent control for small businesses, among other relief measures. The province of Ontario has not yet responded to the city motion. Statistics Canada says average retail rent has risen 6.5% across Canada and 3.7% in BC between the first quarter of 2019 and the second quarter of 2024. Now keep in mind, the data does look at a wide range of retail properties, from shopping malls to local stores. And there are some who don't favor commercial rent control.
Commercial rent control is just a drop in the bucket, frankly.
Stefanico says if commercial rents are limited, landlords may not invest in retail spaces, worried about a return on their investments. He says this could mean fewer spaces to rent and less maintenance.
The root of the problem really comes back to how expensive it is to run a small business in BC these days. Labor costs are rising, delivery costs are rising, buying the supplies you need for your business are rising.
And then factor in property taxes. Experts say tenants, especially in older single-story businesses, are hit hard because they're taxed based on the property's future potential. Many times, small businesses have to cover those costs. For example, this year, the average property tax for a business building in New Westminster will be around $32,000.
Property tax can be a killer for tenants even when they're in the middle of the lease.
The government says it has been working to reduce taxes for small businesses. A new law last year offers property tax relief to those who qualify. But even with lower taxes, some businesses still struggle to make a profit. A report from BC's restaurant industry found over 50% of food service and hospitality businesses are unprofitable. That's a nearly five-fold increase since 2019. It also found restaurant bankruptcies rose by 48% over 10 months. Rent hikes, pricier supply, and rising property taxes are among the reasons why. And another question is, how do you define a small local business? Well, mom and pop shops can be locally owned, so can chain restaurants.
And I think that's really sometimes the nuance of deciding, well, who would this commercial rent control apply to?
He says most landlords want their tenants to succeed, and it's important to find other balanced solutions. Now back on 12th Street, some are doing just that. Catalyst Kinetics is now a landlord, renting to 3 other tenants, and they hope to keep those rents affordable.
I think we owe it to the community, we owe it to small business to do what we can to support them.
And down the street, owning a storefront bookstore seemed impossible for Samita Manhas until her landlord offered a more affordable rent.
We are lucky that we have the landlord that we have, and not everybody has that, and it shouldn't be based on luck.
More reasons why some small businesses want more tools to help keep local stores open and thriving. Benit Brach, CBC News, New Westminster.